If you're looking to include some books in your kiddo's library that focus on diversity, equality, and anti-racism, you're going to want to stick around because today I am reviewing some popular children's book on just that. Coming up. What's up, friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nekole. I am an intentional parenting coach, a mama, as well as a pediatric occupational therapist. And on this channel, I am sharing tools, strategies, tips, my own personal life experience to help make motherhood easier on you. So if that sounds like something you're into, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. All right, guys, so I know with all of the intense events that are happening in our world today, there has been a renewed focus on diversity, equity, and equality. And many of us were searching for books on just that to include in our children's library to help educate them and really ourselves on the subject of race relations, equality, and as mentioned, diversity, equity. So I had ordered these books from Mahogany Books, and really it was actually 2 months ago. But they became overwhelmed with the amount of orders that were placed. And so it's literally taken me almost 2 months to get these 5 books in. But they're all here now. They have all been read. And I just want to share my thoughts about these particular books and let you know whether it's one worth purchasing or if it's one worth skipping. Okay, so let's jump into it. All right, so the first book I want to talk to you guys about is called The Color of Us. And it is by Miss Katz. And I say this is a great book to include in your kiddo's library. What I love about this particular book is it takes a little kiddo's experience of the world and explores diversity in terms of skin color. And I think this is really important because many of us have grown up with, either a brown crayon and a peach crayon, but not really seeing the beautiful shades between or within those colors. And so this book, again, just kind of walks this kiddo through the people in her community, the people in her family, and celebrating the different shades of the people that she knows and loves, and kind of putting a color or a description to all of these beautiful shades. And I just thought that that is wonderful. And it's such a beautiful way to show our children that it's not just black and white or seeing in binary, that there's so many gorgeous shades between the lightest and the darkest of shades. So highly recommend this one. All right, so the next book I want to chat about, and this one I think is pretty popular, it's called The Antiracist Baby, and it's by Ibram, Kendi, and illustrated by Ashley Lukashevsky. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. This book, I was actually really confused by. I thought it would be something great to explore, but I'm confused as to who the target audience is. It's like not a children's book. The words are almost more geared towards an adult, but here we have like illustrations and stuff that would catch a child's eye. And so it did not seem cohesive to me in terms of the message that it wanted to relay. And I was really confused by it. Honestly, kind of just disappointed. I was expecting more. So if you see this, which you probably will because it's a pretty popular book and I've noted other parents have purchased this book, I would say skip it and save your money for some of the other books that I'm going to talk about that are must-haves. So, sorry, Antiracist Baby. I wouldn't purchase it again. Okay, so this next book is a must-have. This is my favorite book in the entire batch of books that I purchased from Mahogany Books. This is Sulwe, and it's by Lupita. You guys probably know this beautiful, gorgeous woman who is an actress and has been in incredible films. This book, oh my goodness. I started tearing up just because it's just so raw, it's so vulnerable, and Lupita kind of pulls from her life experience, just talking about how colorism exists, right? And that darker shades, people who are of darker skin tones often experience rejection or a feeling of isolation or less than, like unworthiness because of the way that they are treated or seen in society. And so this story just kind of takes you through Sulwe's experience of how she is interpreting other people's perception of her skin tone and how it impacts her personally. And the illustrations in this book are incredible. I mean, I want to show you guys this specific, this is probably my favorite page, where it's Sulwe and her sister, and the metaphor is night and day, and just how beautiful both of those energies are and how needed both of those energies are. It's a beautiful story with incredible art, and it is one for your child's library. 1,000%. The message is just, it's one every kiddo should, I think, hear. And it's just a great way to have compassion and understand someone else's perception of how they might be treated in the world, in society, for looking different than someone with lighter skin. So this is a must-have. I highly recommend. Save your money from the Antiracist baby if you were planning on doing that, and purchase Sulwe. Okay, next up was a book I purchased. It's called Why Am I Me? I actually purchased this book because there wasn't a large description about what the book was about that I could find. I thought this book was actually going to be on mixed races, which I was like all for because Kai's mixed, and I would love a book that sort of detailed, you know, why am I me? Thinking like you have a black parent or a white parent or whatever the race is, like we have mixed race, and that's sort of what the cover gave off, in my opinion. But this is another one of those books where I'm like, let's skip. There's no cohesive storyline in this book, and there's probably about 10 pages in this entire book, and a couple of them are just dedicated to the question, why am I me? 3 times, 3 separate pages, just a me. So I was almost equally confused with the Why Am I Me book as I was with the Antiracist baby book. Neither had a story, and I don't get it. This book was $18 too. I was disappointed. I mean, that is an understatement. I was completely disappointed. I read this book to Kai, and it was like, well, that's it. And Kai kind of looked at me like, well, all right. There's no takeaway message. The illustration's pretty, but that's it. I mean, I'm very confused why this costs $18. So I would say skip this book. Okay, so last but not least is a book that I purchased called I Am Enough. This is a beautiful book. I would highly recommend getting this book. This book is actually probably for kiddos a little bit older, maybe like 6 to 8. I did read it to Kai. I know that maybe some of the concepts will wash over his head at this point, but as the title implies, it goes through this little black girl being enough in various situations and just sort of like self-love anthem, right? Being worthy enough, being strong enough, being smart enough, being bright enough, being good enough. And so it's such a empowering message for little ones, especially little girls, little black girls, to understand that they are worthy of all the things they dream of and that they're good enough just the way they are. They don't have to change anything about them to be good enough, quote unquote. So this is a great one to include in your kiddos library. I would highly recommend that. All right, you guys, so those are the 5 books that I purchased from Mahogany Books. They were pretty popular books on the list of diversity, equity, equality, and inclusion. And so you may have seen them, and I hope I just gave you a little bit of insight as to whether these books were worth the money or not. If you have any questions or concerns, as always, please feel free to leave them below. And I always love hearing from you guys. If you have found a beautiful book that you've added to your library that you think all of us moms should know about or dads should know about, please drop it below. I would love to check it out. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.